I never thought saying goodbye could feel like killing someone, Emily whispered, her voice trembling like fragile glass about to shatter. She stared at the empty room where Lily's laughter used to echo, a silence so thick it pressed against her chest like a suffocating weight. Every breath felt like a battle, every heartbeat a reminder of the promise she feared she might break. How do you walk away from a child who believes you are her only hope, who trusts you with the magic that keeps her fighting? This wasn't just a job anymore. It was a fight for survival between love and fear, hope and despair. And now, standing at the crossroads of heartbreak and courage, Emily knew one wrong move could destroy everything they had rebuilt. Stay with me, because what happens next will shatter your expectations, break your heart, and restore your faith in the most unexpected way. The story you thought you knew is about to twist in a way no one saw coming. Emily Carter tightened her janitor's uniform for the third time, hands trembling as she rang the bell of the Whitmore estate, an opulent mansion so pristine it felt more like a museum than someone's home. At just 26, Emily had endured more than most, dropping out of college after her father died, taking on every job she could to keep her diabetic mother alive. Today was her last shot. No more chances after this. The insulin was running out. Hope was running out. The door opened to reveal a perfectly poised woman in her mid-40s. Diamond earrings, tailored gray blazer eyes, colder than steel. "You're here to clean the first floor only," she said curtly. "The second level is off limits. Mr. Whitmore doesn't want noise near his daughter's room." Emily nodded quickly, trying not to stare at the chandelier overhead that probably cost more than her mother's entire medical treatment. 2 hours later, she was on her knees wiping the marble staircase when she heard a sound so raw it froze her in place. It wasn't just crying, it was grief, a child's grief, the kind that digs its claws into your chest and doesn't let go. She hesitated. She'd been told not to go upstairs. But something about that cry, it sounded like the way she used to cry in the hospital hallway when they told her they couldn't save her father. She stood. Her legs moved before her brain caught up. Step by step, Emily climbed the forbidden staircase. The crying grew louder, more guttural. It was coming from a bathroom at the end of the master suite hallway. She knocked gently. "Hey, sweetie, are you okay in there?" The crying paused for just a second, then started again louder. "Go away," the child sobbed. "Don't look at me like this." Emily sat down on the hallway floor back against the door. "When I was little," she said softly, "I used to hide in the bathroom when I felt ugly or sad too. I didn't want anyone to see my face. But you know what? Sometimes the person outside the door is the one who helps you see yourself again." Silence. Then click, the lock turned. Emily's breath caught in her throat as the door opened an inch. A small girl around 7 stood there, bald, pale. Her tiny hands clutched a golden blonde wig. Her lower lip trembled. "I look like a boy," she whispered. "I'm ugly." Emily knelt to eye level. "No, you're not ugly. You're just missing something that'll grow back. But until then," she glanced around and spotted a marker near the sink. "How about we give your head something even better than hair?" Lily blinked through her tears. Emily grinned, uncapped the marker, and began to draw. One delicate blue butterfly near the ear, a soft pink one on the forehead, a golden one near the neck. The bald head slowly transformed into a magical garden. "There," Emily said, her voice warm. "Now you've got butterflies, the bravest creatures in the world. They'll protect you. They'll make you shine." Lily turned to the mirror. Her eyes widened. Then, she smiled. It was fragile at first, like sunlight through fog. Then it grew. A real, unfiltered, joyful smile. "They're magical, right?" Lily whispered. "The most magical of all," Emily replied. Behind them, someone inhaled sharply. Emily turned and her heart dropped. At the doorway stood Daniel Whitmore. Tall, tailored, sharp, but his face wasn't angry. It was stunned, disarmed. He was looking not at Emily, but at Lily, his daughter, smiling for the first time in months. "Daddy, look." Lily ran to him, arms wide. "She gave me butterflies." Daniel knelt, hugging her. "You've never been ugly, Lily." "Not for a second." His eyes met Emily's over his daughter's head. She stood quickly, brushing her hands on her pants, panicking. "I'm so sorry, sir. I know I wasn't supposed to be up here, but she was crying, and he raised his hand. No, he said, voice catching. Thank you. Emily froze. Her heart was racing. This man, wealthy, powerful, practically royalty in the city, was looking at her like she mattered. The doorbell rang downstairs. That's probably Dr. Hale, Daniel murmured, still in a daze. A few minutes later, Dr. Veronica Hale ascended the stairs in her designer heels, cool and composed. At 45, she was considered the top pediatric oncologist in the country. And for 5 years, she'd quietly loved Daniel, waiting, calculating, patient. When she stepped into the room and saw Lily beaming with butterflies painted on her bald head, she froze. Dr. Veronica, look what she did. Lily twirled. Emily made me magic. Veronica's smile tightened. Emily, that was her name? She scanned the butterflies, her brain already racing. Unsterilized markers on a chemo patient. I hope that's non-toxic ink, she said with a falsely sweet tone. Children undergoing chemotherapy have extremely sensitive skin. Even basic chemicals can trigger severe reactions. Emily's confidence shattered. I just used a washable marker. I didn't mean. Of course, Veronica cut her off. You didn't know, she turned to Daniel. Perhaps it's time we revisit staff training. Any exposure to harmful substances right now could be dangerous, even fatal. Daniel's face clouded. Emily's heart sank. Lily clung to Emily. Don't erase them. The butterflies give me strength. Emily knelt again. Butterflies aren't just on your head, sweetheart. They're here too. She tapped Lily's chest. And tomorrow, if you want, we can make new ones. Promise, Lily whispered. Cross my heart. As they exited the bathroom, Veronica lingered behind, her gaze locked on Emily, calculating, threatened. She whispered to herself, this isn't over. And it wasn't, because something in that moment had shifted inside Daniel, inside Lily, inside Emily herself. The butterflies weren't just drawings. They were the beginning of something powerful, something dangerous, something no one saw coming. But what if the very thing that heals also invites chaos? That question would soon haunt them all. Thank you for watching this far. I know stopping here is cruel, especially when things are just getting interesting, but trust me, what comes next will change everything. Now I want to ask you, if you were Daniel, would you trust your heart or the experts? Let me know in the comments. And if you felt something while watching, please tap the like button to show your support. Your love helps keep the butterflies flying. For the first time in 8 months, laughter echoed through the halls of the Whitmore estate. It wasn't from guests or staff or corporate colleagues. It was from Lily giggling, chasing after her imaginary butterflies, dancing barefoot across the sunlit living room, while Emily wiped the counters with one eye always on her. That laughter had become the most precious sound in Daniel's world, and it terrified him more than anything else, because he knew it couldn't last. That night, Daniel stood alone by the fireplace, swirling a glass of untouched whiskey, staring at the faint remnants of a butterfly Emily had drawn on Lily's hand. It had already started to fade, but the joy it brought hadn't. Emily's presence in their lives was undeniable now, irreplaceable even. But Daniel wasn't just a father. He was a man living with the ghost of a promise to protect Lily at all costs. And as grateful as he was to Emily, he couldn't silence the growing whisper in his mind. The one planted by Veronica Hale. What if this wasn't safe? What if he was letting emotion cloud his judgment? Upstairs, Lily was asleep with her hand resting gently on Emily's, both of them curled on the edge of the bed. Daniel watched the scene for a long time before quietly closing the door. His heart ached. But doubt is a subtle poison. It doesn't scream, it seeps. The next morning, Emily was drawing new butterflies when Veronica appeared at the door without an appointment. She wore her usual precision heels, polished blazer, crisp smile tight. Good morning, Daniel, she said. We need to talk. Privately. He motioned her to the study. Emily glanced up nervously from across the room. The air had shifted. Veronica placed a thick folder on the table. This is a medical report, reviewed and signed by 3 of my colleagues. It outlines the potential risks Lily is exposed to from continuous contact with an unqualified caregiver using unregulated materials. Daniel flipped through it, his eyes scanning the cold clinical phrases. Risk of infection, emotional dependency, unethical exposure to non-certified therapy. She's not a therapist, Veronica said, voice sharper now. She's a janitor, drawing on a cancer patient's head. Daniel felt heat rise to his face. You've seen Lily. She's better. She's happy. Temporarily, Veronica countered. That kind of high, it doesn't last. When this woman disappears, as she inevitably will, it will crush Lily. Worse than before? Daniel swallowed hard. What are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting, Veronica said, leaning in. I'm making a professional demand. Either remove Emily Carter from Lily's life, or I resign as your daughter's physician. It landed like a slap. He opened his mouth to speak, but then he saw the picture Veronica slid across the table. Lily hugging Emily, smiling. A smear of red near her ear. She's scratching again, Veronica whispered. The skin's inflamed. The markers are irritating her. Do you really want to explain to your daughter why she's back in the ICU? Because you didn't act in time? Daniel said nothing, because part of him, the scared father part, believed her. Emily was in the kitchen when he approached, his shoulders tense, his voice low. Can we talk? He asked, not meeting her eyes. She wiped her hands on a towel. Of course. They stepped into the sunroom. The butterflies drawn on Lily's walls glowed faintly in the afternoon light. Daniel took a breath. There's concern. From the medical board, Veronica showed me some things. There's talk about potential risks. Emily's smile faded. You're asking me to leave. I don't want to, Daniel said quickly. But they think it's safest. I am the safest thing that's happened to that little girl. Emily whispered, her voice breaking. She takes her medication now. She sleeps without crying. She laughs. And you're telling me to walk away? Daniel's jaw clenched. Emily, I'm trying to do the right thing. For whom? She asked, tears welling. For her, or for the doctor who's been in love with you for 5 years? The words hung in the air like broken glass. Daniel looked stunned. How do you? She watches me like I'm an infection she has to disinfect. She doesn't care about Lily. She cares about control. Emily shook her head. But fine, I'll go. But you look Lily in the eyes and explain it. Because I can't. Not after I promised I'd never leave. He didn't answer. He couldn't. So she left. And as Emily walked out the door with trembling hands and eyes full of silent grief, Lily raced down the stairs. Emily, wait. Where are you going? Daniel froze. Emily turned, forcing a smile. I have to go, sweetie. Just for a little while. But you promised, Lily screamed. You said you'd stay. Daniel reached for her, but she shoved him away. You made her leave. You always make the people I love leave. He felt the weight of those words crush into his chest. Hours later, Lily was silent, refusing food, refusing medicine. She wouldn't speak. She just stared at the blank wall above her bed. That night, Daniel stood outside her door, holding her favorite storybook, but unable to enter. He finally opened it to find a drawing Lily had placed there herself. It was a butterfly, with a broken wing. The next day, nurse Jessica Miles found him outside the hospital room, hollow-eyed. I know Emily, she said quietly. I worked with her. She's not dangerous. But your daughter? She's slipping away again. Daniel nodded, but his throat was too tight for words. Later that evening, he caught Veronica alone near the nurse's station. Show me the pictures again, he said. Veronica hesitated. Now. She handed over her phone. He zoomed into the image, the one with the alleged red scratch. Adjusted the light. It was a shadow, not blood. Just the curve of Lily's ear catching a shadow from the lamp. He looked up slowly. You lied to me. Veronica's jaw tightened. I showed you what you needed to see. For your daughter's sake. For your sake, he said coldly. You manipulated me because I trusted you. For the first time, Veronica said nothing. Daniel turned and walked away. His steps were heavy. His mind was racing. But one thought cut through the noise. He had to bring Emily back, no matter what it cost. And that is where we'll have to stop for now. I know you want to see what Daniel does next. So do I. But trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Let me ask you this. If someone you loved was caught between healing and control, would you risk everything to bring the truth back? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if this story moved you, please tap the like button to support it. Your encouragement keeps this story and the butterflies alive." Daniel didn't knock. He couldn't. He simply stood outside the employee entrance of the Maplewood Cleaning Company with the same urgency one might bring to a hospital emergency room, because that's exactly what this was, a quiet emergency of the heart. Then he saw her. Emily Carter stepped off the bus, hair tied back in a messy ponytail. Eyes tired, her faded jacket pulled tight against the cold wind. She was smaller somehow, like grief had shrunk her. But when their eyes met, she froze. "Mr. Whitmore," she said cautiously. "No," he replied gently. "Just Daniel. Please, I need your help." Her heart leapt into her throat. "It's Lily, isn't it?" she said, voice already breaking. "She won't eat," he said. "She won't speak. She's tearing at her scalp again. The doctors are watching her fade, and I can't lose her, Emily. I just can't." Tears rushed to Emily's eyes. She hadn't slept properly in days. Every night she dreamed of Lily's voice calling her name. Every morning she woke to the echo of silence. "Take me to her," she said. Daniel didn't waste a second. With the help of Nurse Jessica, who had already prepared a visitor badge under a false designation, child play therapy consultant, Emily slipped into St. Vincent's Children's Hospital just after 6 a.m. The halls were quiet. No press, no Veronica, no noise, just fear. They found Lily lying still, her eyes closed, her lips cracked, her fingers wrapped tight around a worn-out butterfly drawing. A tube fed into her arm. Her chest rose and fell barely. "Lily," Emily whispered, falling to her knees beside the bed. She reached into her bag and pulled out a familiar blue marker. Her hands trembled, but her heart knew exactly what to do. She gently rolled up Lily's sleeve and began to draw. One soft wing, then the next. Lily stirred. Emily began to hum the butterfly song, the one they used to sing when the world still made sense. Lily's eyes fluttered open. At first confusion, then recognition, then joy. "Lala," she whispered. Emily nodded, smiling through tears. "I'm here, baby girl. I'm not going anywhere." Daniel stood frozen in the doorway, watching something he could never explain to a medical board, his daughter's soul coming back to life. Within an hour, Lily had taken her medication. By lunchtime, she was laughing. By dinner, she was asking to go home. Veronica Hale was livid when she found out. She stormed into the hospital board meeting that evening, flinging a thick report across the table. "They're endangering this child. Emily Carter is unlicensed, untrained, and emotionally manipulating a vulnerable minor." One of the doctors, Dr. Collins, flipped through the folder and raised an eyebrow, then explained why the child is no longer refusing treatment and shows measurable improvement in every vital stat. Veronica slammed her palm on the table. "She's faking it. She's been coached. This is orchestrated." No one spoke, because no one believed her anymore. 2 days later, Daniel did what no one expected. He held a press conference. Reporters filled the courtyard outside his estate. The air was electric. Rumors had spread like wildfire. Some claimed Emily was a fraud. Others called her an angel. No one knew what the truth was, until Daniel stepped forward with Lily by his side and Emily just behind them. "My daughter was fading," Daniel began. "Doctors saved her body. But this woman, Emily Carter, she saved her spirit." He turned to Emily. "And I've made many mistakes in my life, but letting her walk out of our lives was the worst one." He knelt. The crowd gasped. "Emily Carter," he said, "will you marry me?" Emily's breath caught. Tears welled in her eyes. She turned to Lily, who whispered, "Please say yes. Then we can be a real family." Emily looked at Daniel and nodded. "Yes." That night, the internet exploded. Headlines screamed across social media: "Butterfly girl reunited with caregiver." "Billionaire proposes to janitor who saved his daughter." Love wins in the most unexpected place. But not everyone celebrated. Veronica Hale filed one final complaint with Child Protective Services alleging negligence and emotional manipulation. An investigation was launched. Daniel and Emily were interviewed separately. Lily was interviewed in a playroom quietly by a seasoned investigator. At one point, the investigator asked her, "Why do you think people are worried?" Lily paused, then picked up a marker. She drew a butterfly on the back of the investigator's hand. "If you believe that's real," she said, "then you'll believe our family is too." The report came back 2 weeks later. No evidence of abuse, no signs of emotional manipulation. Case closed. Relieved but scarred by the process, Daniel and Emily made a decision. They would no longer live in the shadow of fear. Instead, they would build something greater. Together, they founded the Butterfly House, a nonprofit offering emotional support through art therapy for children with chronic illnesses. Emily returned to school part-time studying therapeutic arts. Daniel stepped down from several corporate boards to fund the center. Lily Shee became its very first ambassador. A year passed, then two. Lily's hair grew back in soft golden waves. Her cancer remained in remission. The butterflies, now drawn by dozens of volunteers trained by Emily, continued to bring comfort to children all over the state. And sometimes, late at night, Emily would sit on the back porch beside Daniel, watching Lily chase fireflies in the yard and whisper, "I still don't know how we got here." Daniel would take her hand and say, "Because love doesn't need a map, just courage." And in that quiet, firelit yard, they knew they'd found something worth every storm they had endured. Now, before I let you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever made a decision based on fear and later realized love would have led you better? Do you think people without medical degrees can still be powerful healers of the heart? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of this story? If it truly moved you, please comment number 3 below. If it felt okay but not amazing, comment number 2. And if it didn't land for you, we respect that too. Comment number 1 and tell us why. Also, let us know what country you're watching from. We'd love to know how far the butterflies have flown. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, drop a heart, and share it with someone who still believes in second chances.